Welcome! This video is all about the simple past and past perfect tenses of the verb. By the end of this video, you should be able to use the past and past perfect tenses correctly in varied contexts. Let's first review the parts of a sentence. We all know that a sentence must have a subject and a predicate. For example, the Philippines celebrated Day of Valor last Friday. The subject in this sentence is the Philippines, and the predicate is celebrated Day of Valor last Friday. Remember that the predicate always starts with the verb. In this sentence, the verb is celebrated. The general definition of a verb is that it expresses action, but bear in mind that verbs express not only action but also time. The time element in the verb is called tenses. A verb is in past tense if the action happened in the past. It is in present tense if the action is currently happening. The verb is in future tense if the action will happen in the future. Each of these tenses has four aspects: simple, progressive, perfect, and perfect progressive. Simple tenses are used whenever you are talking about an action at a specific point in time. Progressive tenses are used whenever you are talking about the specific length of time of an action. Perfect tenses are used whenever you are talking about a point in time before another action happens at a specific point in time. Perfect progressive tenses are used whenever you are talking about how long one action takes place up to the time another action happens. But in this video lesson, we shall only be focusing on simple past and past perfect tenses of the verb. The simple past tense shows completed past action or condition at a specific point in time. It means that the action happened before now. If we have a regular verb, we form the verb in the simple past tense based on this formula. Base form of the verb plus D if the verb ends in E, or ED if the verb ends in a consonant, and Y. For example, the verb love ends in E, so we only have to add D. Therefore, the past tense is loved. Cook ends in the consonant K. We have to add ED, so the past tense of cook is cooked. Pay ends in Y. We have to change Y to I, then add ED. Thus, the past tense of pay is paid. Let's have sample sentence. 2 days ago, the war veterans practiced for the parade. The verb in this sentence is practiced. The verb practice ends in E, so we only have to add D to form its past tense. This action is completed in the past based on the time marker given 2 days ago. Let's have another sample sentence. The Filipinos lauded the frontliners in the celebration of the Day of Valor last Friday. The verb in this sentence is lauded. The base form of the verb is laud. Since it ends with the consonant D, we have to add ED to form the past tense of the verb. We could know that this sentence is in the past as it shows a completed action through the time marker given last Friday. The formula base form of the verb plus D or ED is only applicable for regular verbs. But if the verb is irregular, you have to change the spelling of the verb. Look at this example. Lorenzo del Castillo built the Shrine of Valor at Mount Samat, Bataan in 1970. The verb in this sentence is built, which is the past form of build. Notice that in this case, ED was not added to build to form the past tense of the verb. Rather, the spelling was changed. This is because the verb build is an irregular verb. This action is completed in the past because of the time marker in 1970. Let's have another example. Seno Rivera made the design for the 3 large stained glass windows in the Shrine of Valor 50 years ago. The verb in this sentence is made, which is the past tense of the irregular verb make. This action is proven to be completed in the past because of the time marker 50 years ago. Some sentences may state something that is not true or incorrect. These are called negative sentences. Look at these examples. The Japanese traveled 76,000 prisoners to a prison camp in San Fernando. In forming simple past negative, the formula did not plus base form of the verb is followed. So, if you will transform the positive sentence, the Japanese traveled 76,000 prisoners to a prison camp in San Fernando, to a negative sentence, it would be, the Japanese did not travel the 76,000 prisoners to a prison camp in San Fernando. The verb traveled is changed to did not plus base form of traveled, which is travel. Let's have more sample sentences. American and Filipino soldiers did not die on the battlefield. They died on the 150-kilometer march. The verb in the first sentence is did not die. This is the simple past negative form of the verb die. Next sentence. The veterans from the Second World War did not parade in cities across the Philippines this year. The verb did not parade is the simple past negative form of the verb parade. The simple past tense can also be used in questions or interrogative sentences. The following formula must be used. Did plus subject plus the base form of the verb. Let's take a look at this example. Did President Carlos Garcia sign the law proclaiming the 9th day of April as a legal holiday? This sentence follows the given formula in creating an interrogative sentence in simple past form. Did plus the subject is President Carlos Garcia plus the base form of the verb sign. Here's another example of an interrogative sentence in simple past form. Did 3rd Lieutenant Normando Reyes announce a broadcast message about the fall of Bataan on April 9, 1942? Again, this sentence follows the formula did plus the subject 3rd Lieutenant Normando Reyes plus the base form of the verb announce. Time markers can help you understand and determine that an action has happened in the past. These are also called as signal words. Here are a few examples of signal words used in the simple past tense. Yesterday, last year, a month ago, when, before, a while ago, and last night. We are done with the simple past tense. This time, let's discuss the past perfect tense. If the simple past tense shows completed action in the past perfect tense shows one action is completed before another action. Thus, there are two actions in the sentence. The first action started in the past and continued up to a given time in the past. The verb follows the formula below. Had plus past participle of the verb. For example, had plus the past participle of clean, which is cleaned, you have had cleaned as the past perfect tense. For the irregular verb make, you have had plus the past participle of make, which is made. Therefore, the past perfect tense of make is had made. For the irregular verb see, the past participle is seen. This is different from its past tense saw. So, the past perfect tense of see is had seen. Please bear in mind that the past form of the verb is different from the past participle. Let's have a quick review on past tense and past participle of some irregular verbs. The verb is be. The simple past is was for singular nouns and were for plural nouns. The past participle is been. The verb is come. Simple past is came. Past participle is come. The verb is do. Simple past is did. Past participle is done. The verb is eat. Simple past ate. Past participle eaten. The verb take. Simple past is took. Past participle is taken. And the verb is write. Simple past is wrote. Past participle is written. Let's have an example sentence that uses the past perfect tense of the verb. The war veterans had gathered virtually in Zoom before the organizers streamed the Day of Valor celebration in Facebook Live. In order to know that the sentence is in the past perfect tense, there should be two actions. The first action should be completed before another action. In this sentence, the first action is, the war veterans had gathered virtually in Zoom. This event happened first, followed by the second event, the organizers streamed the Day of Valor celebration in Facebook Live. In the first action, the verb used is the past perfect tense, had plus the past participle of gather, which is gathered. On the second action, notice that the verb is in the simple past tense, streamed, stream plus ed. Time signal used in this sentence is before. Let's have another example. They had held the historical webinar series before they launched the program A Tribute to All Filipino Heroes. The first action is, they had held historical webinar series. And the second action is, they launched the program A Tribute to All Filipino Heroes. We would know what action is completed first based on the time marker used before. The verb in the first action is in the past perfect tense, had held. Had plus the past participle of the irregular verb hold. The past perfect tense may also show that an action happened before a specific time in the past. For example, the American and Filipino soldiers had surrendered to the Japanese before dawn of April 9, 1942. This sentence shows that an action, the surrender of American and Filipino soldiers, happened before a specific time in the past, and that is dawn of April 9, 1942. Therefore, the past perfect tense of the verb used is had surrendered. The past perfect tense may also be used in negative sentences. The formula for past perfect negative is had not plus past participle of the verb. For example, the soldiers had not had food nor water until they reached the prison camp. The verb had not had is the past perfect negative form of had not plus past participle of have, which is had. The time signal used in this sentence is until. Another formula for past perfect negative is had never plus past participle of the verb. For example, the celebration of the Day of Valor had never streamed online until 2020. The verb in this sentence is had never streamed online. This shows that this action did not happen before 2020. For asking a question in the past perfect tense, the formula is as follows: had plus subject plus past participle. For example, had the observance of Day of Valor changed before the time of President Cory Aquino? In this sentence, it starts with had plus the subject, which is the observance of Day of Valor, plus the past participle of the verb change. Here's another example of an interrogative sentence in the past perfect tense. Had the Japanese taken down other provinces before conquering Bataan? Again, it follows the formula had plus the subject, which are the Japanese, followed by the past participle of the verb take, which is taken. Just remember that simple past tense shows completed past action at a specific point in time, while past perfect tense shows that an action is completed before another action. To better remember the difference of the two, be familiarized with the formula. For simple past, it's base form of the verb plus d or ed. And for past perfect, it's had plus past participle. For negative sentences, the formula for simple past is did not plus base form of the verb, while for past perfect is had not or had never plus the past participle. For interrogative sentences or questions, use the formula did plus subject plus base form of the verb for simple past tense, and had plus subject plus past participle of the verb for the past perfect tense. That is it for this video. I hope that you can now use the past and past perfect tenses correctly in varied contexts. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the post notification for more video lessons in English. Thank you!